That was really fast. I wasn't prepared.
You said you started, so here we are.
What do we normally say at the beginning? We're back. That wasn't as good of a we're back, but
Who are we doing first? What are we talking about today?
I know. Today we're doing the theme that we talked about last week or the week before. So this is going to be, both stories are going to be about people who committed some kind of horrible crime and then were released.
Yes.
So that's what mine is.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Do you think I'm going to know yours?
You might, because it's been brought back up recently,
Oh,
but it occurred a while ago. It was in the 90s.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you want to get right into it, or do you have anything you want to talk about?
How was Christmas?
It was good.
I know we were together for a day.
Yeah, we were together for...
Michelle made us play a game where you tie string around your waist and connect it to a hot dog, which is just kind of dangling between your legs.
Yeah.
And then you thrust your hips and thrust.
Catch it in your mouth.
Except only one nephew of mine could do it. He was the only one who could catch it in his mouth. All the rest of us failed.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Did you hear Grandma say, "Justin, this is just obscene"?
Did she say,
Yeah.
Grandma,
Grandma.
get your mind out of the gutter.
She's 86, and she was just sitting there watching the whole thing. All her grandkids thrusting hot dogs, trying to catch them in their mouth. Imagine her.
I feel Grandma was probably like, okay with going.
Yeah,
It's my time to get hush. I don't belong with this generation.
Yeah.
Of crazies.
time to go.
Grandma, we know you did some stuff, girl.
How about that apron?
Grandma, a freak.
Did I tell you? I made an advent calendar where I wrapped 25 individual gifts, and one of them was a Christmas apron.
She laughed so hard.
Yeah, she did. A lot of them were just, a Reese's tree, or just little things, and then there were like other things peppered in. But
You're such a good granddaughter.
I just know this is a hard time of year for her
I know.
without Grandpa. So
I know, it breaks my heart.
mhm.
I know she just sits in her chair all the time.
I just was thinking about how sad it probably was to be with all of us at my house. Everybody's there, and it's like everyone's having fun and lively and playing games, and then she just leaves there and goes back to her little studio by herself.
Our grandmother lives in an assisted living facility, and the room, first of all,
She
it is
didn't have a bed.
disgusting to me that my grandparents worked their asses off their entire lives. Like, when I'm saying entire lives, I'm saying my grandpa retired like 3 times and could never actually stay retired because he just continued to work.
He literally,
Just a few years ago, they flipped a house in the
Yeah,
80s, flipped a
know.
home.
Grandma was literally calling clients of his from the hospital in his black book, saying Grandpa passed away.
Like, it's
Clients.
It's
86.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So, and now she's alone without him, living in an assisted living facility where they had only moved into for him, and then he passed away
Literally 2 days early.
immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately he passed away. They had just moved in there, and she was only living there for him. And now I think his death took a big enough toll on her, though, that she probably needs that also. I don't know. She had told me a few months ago that in the spring she wanted to move back out into an apartment or something. But anyway, my point is, my grandparents were not, they were very well off growing up when we were growing up.
Yep.
And now she's living in this assisted living facility, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month for her to live in. It's basically the size of a closet.
Tiny. Tiny.
It's disgusting. She can't fit a bed in it. Like, she's staying in a recliner
Literally
chair.
has 2 chairs and a small little side table.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. I kind of absolutely hate going there, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, she won't even let us come in the room usually, because I think she's embarrassed it's so small.
That is so
We
sad.
usually sit outside or in like the main area. But that's what happens when you have family members that are leeches and
Take absolutely.
yeah, I think
That you're willing to give. And the problem with Grandma is that she is willing to give anything to anyone. And so it's just
she bought
heartbreaking.
all of our houses growing up, all of my parents' cars.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Until I was older.
I didn't either, because she's never wanted to talk about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she paid for a lot of things and gave them lots of money. She came through on Christmas. Birthdays, Christmas.
Oh my gosh. What my kids got for Christmas yesterday was just like going to grandparents' house.
Oh,
yeah. Like, that's how
Yeah.
much stuff we got.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So much.
We had awesome grandparents, but yeah, they gave too much to too many people. And now I'm like, my kids ain't getting shit. I'm like, I'm giving you nothing. You're going to learn how to survive on your own.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously. Okay. So yeah, I've been rewatching, by the way, is it called Good Girls on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
It's like at times gets dark, but like is
I haven't
also
seen it.
funny. It's like a good in between to where you don't feel it's not so heavy all the time.
Mhm.
Every once in a
Yeah.
while there's something heavy that happens, but yeah, they lighten it up every now and again too, so you can kind of take a breath.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I've been watching The Holiday,
Great.
The Grinch.
Very good. Have Four Christmases. That's one of my
I
favorites.
just watched Four Christmases 2 nights ago.
Four
I was
Christmases.
we were like cackling on the
Oh,
couch.
We watch it. I watch it like 3 times every single year.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I'll watch it in like March just to such a
So
hilarious. Hilarious. So funny.
Vince Vaughn is so funny.
He's hilarious.
He's actually like I just listened to him on another podcast and he seems like a gentle giant to me.
He is.
Yeah.
He's
like
definitely
he was talking about how he was like in special ed when he was growing up, like the special education classes.
You listened to Armchair Expert.
Yeah.
How did I?
Okay.
Yeah, I heard.
And I thought it was so sweet how he was describing kind of like sticking up for other kids. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was so nice. I was like, man, I hope I can help my kids look out for other kids too. Like teach them. Because obviously someone taught him that. Like look out for, hey, so-and-so, we got to look out for each other. That was really nice.
Yeah, he's just a good person. And he's so damn hilarious.
Dude,
what is the show that it takes place in like the Keys or something? On his brand new, it's on Apple.
I haven't seen it. It's brand new.
Yeah, I think it's brand new. Well, maybe there's a second season now, but either way, it's newer. We just started watching it a few months ago, but we have finished it, I think. What the hell is that called? It's so good, though. It really is good. It's actually good. And it's it's crimey, so you'd really like it.
Oh,
it's really good. It's really, really good. But he's, of course, hilarious. What was the other thing I was going to bring? Oh, we went on Christmas Day with the kids and watched Mufasa.
Oh, Cadence is telling me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was it good? I thought you were going to see Wicked for some reason.
We were going to, but they stopped showing it at the theater. It wasn't or at least the tickets weren't there for us to buy. We were going to see Wicked. The Cadence has seen Wicked now twice, though.
That's what she said.
I'm like, you don't need to see it again.
I read the book a while ago. I wanted to.
Yeah, the book's really good. Mufasa was good, but I will say the music did not show up.
Really?
No, I think the Lion King music 100 times better than this. Mufasa's music, I could not. I feel like if you watch the Lion King one time, you'll remember the music. Can you feel the love? Yes. You see what I'm saying? And there was another love song in that. I couldn't tell you any of the music. I have no idea.
Is Mufasa like the origin story then?
Yes, it's
actually like live action or what?
Ish, yeah. So it's
like
yes.
Okay.
No. But it's digital. So they look like real lions, but they are talking.
Like the Lion King.
I never watched that, but yeah, I didn't watch that. So this starts with Simba's daughter.
Okay.
So, and then Nala. So Simba and Nala are married. He's the king, obviously, and Nala's the little princess.
Okay.
Well, Nala and Simba leave her and she's being watched by Rafiki and Timon. Okay. So the original characters. And then Rafiki is telling her the story of Mufasa.
Okay.
And Scar. Remember Scar?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, they're telling the story in I'm using quotes present time because it's all fake, but they're telling the story in present time. But the story that he's telling, it goes back in time, and that's kind of what you're watching. So you're watching the whole story of Mufasa leading up to him having Simba.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, it was good. It was cute.
I want to watch it.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to get started?
Yeah.
All right. Who's going first? I don't remember who went first last time.
Neither do I.
You want to rock, paper, scissors? Or do you just want to go first?
It doesn't matter. I can go or we can rock,
paper, scissors. We're going to rock, rock, paper, scissors. Is it best 2 out of 3?
One, shoot.
Or
2 out of 3. Let's do this.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Well, we both got scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, she got one. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, same paper. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Shit. Okay, does that mean I go first? Yeah. Okay. Michelle covered me with paper twice, so she goes. Oh, wait. Yeah, you get to pick.
Okay. I'll go. That's fine.
Okay, Michelle's going first.
Okay.
We are doing people who who went to prison and then were
released.
out.
And listen, I'm going to need you to turn this off immediately.
Go ahead and just go away.
So the fact that this dude is out right now, living in New York.
Oh my God.
Okay.
God.
I can't. I literally cannot. And I'm going to try to.
Yours is New York.
Refrain my emotion in.
Mine's also New
I think
York.
we did the same one.
Oh, shit.
This guy was just released. Okay.
Trigger
warning.
warning. Trigger warning.
So this is going to be about the murder of Derek Roby.
I do not know
You
this.
don't know
This
this.
is not mine.
Okay. So this takes place in Savonia, New York,
Never heard of it.
in the 90s. So the person that was just released, his name is Eric Smith,
Okay.
and he was 13 at the time.
Holy
Crash.
shit.
Yeah. So the person who was killed, his name is Derek. He was 4 at the time. So yeah,
He
again,
was 4?
trigger warning. Yeah, that's why I told you. I literally texted
God.
Ashley last night and said, I think I'm gonna have to scrap this because it's just it's too
God.
close to home. It's too close to home. I don't know why I did a one about a child. It just happened though, so
Yeah.
it was like piqued my interest because I was like, oh, this guy's not going to be released. He'd been up for parole multiple times.
Mhm.
So
Oh my God.
anyway, so
Okay.
Derek was 4 years and 10 months at the time, so almost 5. He is said to be all boy. His mom said he was all boy. He loved playing outside. All the videos you see of him, he's like pushing around a tractor,
Videos of him.
playing. Cutest little boy ever. I mean, blonde, just such a cutie pie. He's digging for worms, playing t-ball.
What was his name?
Derek, and his last name is Roby, Robie.
And Eric Smith is the kid. I do know this case.
Yeah.
I do know this case.
So his dad, Dale, coached his t-ball team. And this part makes me just want to cry, having little boys, that
Mhm.
when Derek would play baseball, he would look at his mom and say, this one's for you, Mommy.
No. Oh.
So the morning that the crime occurred, Derek had baseball summer camp scheduled at the park. It was literally a block from his home. We're talking like he didn't have to cross the street. This is right down the sidewalk.
Mhm.
Normally, his mom walked him to camp. But on this morning, Derek's baby brother was super fussy. He'd been teething. So his mom, she was already running late. And as you know how it is as a mom, like my heart goes out to this mom because it's like, I'm sure this is something that she just looks back on and regrets so much because she lets him walk the block by himself to the park.
And he's
because
4.
he's almost 5. This is the 90s. I'm trying to think of it in
know,
mom's
I
perspective.
know.
I hate this, but
Tim
it
talks
is
about how
different.
when he was
It
a
is
kid
different.
too. Our mom was like super
Yeah,
psycho crazy, but
in more ways
Tim,
than
I
one.
know,
People.
so many ways, people. But Tim does talk about growing up how like he'd be like 6 and just riding his bike all over town all day,
Yeah.
to wherever.
I mean, I remember I'd be at strangers' houses. I don't know how I didn't get molested, to be honest with you. I mean,
Mhm.
just constantly staying at this person's house, that person's house, going out with Uncle so-and-so. I don't know who these people are now.
Right.
Just people that we knew, and she just needed someone to watch us. So,
Mhm.
so on this morning, Derek's mom let him walk alone. Baby brother's teething. She's running late already. He says, it's okay, Mom. I'll just walk the block myself. No big deal. And the mom's like, okay, fine. You can go. He goes out the door. Again, we're talking about 1 block away. He doesn't have to cross the street. It's a dead-end road. He walks straight there. He knows. He's very familiar with it. She wasn't concerned. Okay? So he leaves to walk to the park. And this is, again, the first time that the mom ever let him do that. She just,
Mhm.
on a whim that morning, said that was okay. So a few hours later, Doreen said it started to pour down rain, and she had an overwhelming feeling that something was wrong. She raced to the park to pick up Derek, and when she got there, they said he had never arrived that morning.
Oh shit.
So, of course, she
Can
starts
you
to
imagine
panic.
being that parent?
I mean, I can't. That's why last night when I was writing this, I had to stop. I'm just like, I
No, this
immediately
isn't how you
put
want.
the babies, my toddlers in. I'm putting myself in her shoes, and I'm just like, I can't even imagine her grief. I can't even imagine. It's the worst thing that you could ever. If you don't have children, there's no way that you could ever understand the pain that this woman has to go through. And the dad and her just knowing that, like, what happened. So she immediately calls the cops. They're searching for him everywhere. And 5 hours later, they found little Derek's body in the woods a few hundred yards from his front door and right by the park. Originally, family and neighbors thought the killer was a stranger or was from out of town because this was a very small, close-knit community, and everyone knew each other, and no one could think of who would possibly do this. No one had seen anything.
No one, that's what I don't understand is how no one saw anything, because he's going to a park where there's a camp
Yeah.
1 block away. Like I guess it just didn't ring any.
Well,
like,
I'm just
no
picturing
red lights went off when people saw him.
a wooded area
Yeah.
and a little boy walking on a sidewalk and someone in the woods saying, "Hey, come this way.
Yeah.
I can show you something. Let me show you something." And then that's all it takes, you know. No one's paying attention to a little boy walking by himself. They might have seen, you know, if something.
I do. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's this baby doing walking alone?
Now
Watching you.
I feel like I'm like, I don't know if it's like a trauma response or what, but I'm looking for everything. Where am I exiting here? How are we getting out of here? What's our response if
Right.
something goes wrong here? Like I'm constantly thinking about what's next.
Mm.
And that probably isn't super healthy because I'm like always in like defense mode. My body's like ready to be attacked.
Right.
But I mean, that's just
how my life and
I have been that way my entire life, I think. And since having kids, it's just gotten worse. So yeah, I would definitely notice that now. In the 90s, everybody's fucking
right
out on their own, 4-year-olds walking to baseball, whatever. Like, but I can't blame this mom because
it's not the mom's fault.
It's not the mom's fault. So she
was probably a poor choice, but it absolutely is not her fault.
Eric Smith, who was 13 at the time of the crime, was heading to the same
Who
park.
did not look 13, by the way.
That little boy,
story.
He looks like he's about 8.
Yeah.
So he was 13 at the time of the crime and was heading to the same park. Eric was known to be pedaling his bike around town for hours at a time by himself. He had bright red hair. Well, I'm talking bright, people.
Yeah, I mean, it was
bright.
red.
It's red, okay? Freckles and big, thick bottle cap glasses. Because of this, it made him an easy target at school for bullying and being picked on. On this day, he rode past his bike past Derek Roby and said, I quote, "I saw this blonde kid and I wanted to hurt."
Oh my God.
So, side note about Eric, one of the things that helped police find him and figure out who he was, because no one saw anything, was that the evening of the crime, Eric said to his mother's friend, Melissa, what would happen if it was a kid that killed Derek? Which, this is just such like because an adult who kills
Did they already know? They had already found the body? Like everyone knew that he had been found?
No. They found Derek in the woods this afternoon. Okay? So everyone in town knew. Everybody
knew the body was found.
They knew the body was found, and everyone's like, we're not letting our kids out of the house. Everybody's on high alert. Nobody knows who did it. But Eric, he's not even part of this yet. Okay? I'm just talking about him like he is because I know that he's on parole right now. He says to his mom's friend, what would happen if a kid killed him? And his mom's friend said, if a kid did this, I would say they needed mental help immediately. And then the mom's friend, Melissa, is kind of like, that's a weird question. Like, what kid would do this? And then she found out that Eric was riding his bike to the same park right past the woods where Derek was killed that morning and was like, okay, red flag. So she calls the mom and was like, this is weird. Why would he say that? So they're kind of like putting those pieces together, but they're also like, there's no way he did this.
There's no way.
But maybe he saw something. That's what they're thinking in their minds. So 4 days after they found Derek's body, and at the prompting of his mother and his mother's friend, because they know like he rode his bike right past that area and he asked that weird question. So they took him to the police department. And they were like, wow. So Eric went into the police department and was like, hey, could I be of any help? And just sits down and starts talking to the investigators. What? Little do the parents know that like he obviously has much more information than what they're aware of.
Oh my God.
So originally the investigators...
They have no inclination.
The parents
do not think
They do not know. They do not think he's involved. They're shook when they find out that
why would they just ask him, like, did you see anything? Like, why would they take him to investigators?
He said, I didn't even see him. I didn't see him. That was
why did they
Eric's
take him to
original...
police?
Because they thought he was in the area. Maybe they...
okay.
So he's talking to the investigators. Investigators are asking him questions, and they didn't find anything suspicious until he changed his story from he never saw Derek to suddenly he did see Derek, actually. And so for them, they're like, okay, that's weird. But still, it's like, if you see pictures, we'll post pictures of him in the show notes and of Derek, but Eric is very unsuspecting looking. Looks like a little boy. He doesn't even look like a teenager to me.
No, and like he's like one of my boys who's like total nerd alert, like glasses and red hair and like
Very
sweet,
shy, like
sweet little round face and like looks extremely young to me. I don't think he looks anywhere near that.
and
11.
even in like the videos of like that they have online of him with his grandpa and stuff, he's like, he obviously was not a sweet boy, but he did not come across like this is a cold-blooded killer. He's like, "Hi, grandpa." Like he just looks like a geeky little boy.
I haven't even seen those videos.
Yeah, like it's very chilling to know what he did though. Admittedly, has done. So anyway, so he's at the police department talking to investigators. He changes his story. They're like, okay, red flag. So then he says he did see Derek across the street on this walking in the field while he was on the sidewalk. And investigators are like, oh, that's weird. That's right where we found his body. So they start asking him more questions. Like, oh, what was he wearing? What were you wearing? Was he carrying anything? Oh, what did his lunchbox look like? So as they're asking him questions, Eric started to shake and cry and said, you think I killed him, didn't you? So then Eric asked for a break. And his dad, who's also there with him, brings him a glass of Kool-Aid. Now, I haven't gone into any of the details of the crime yet, but the crime has something to do with Kool-Aid. So they set the Kool-Aid down in front of Eric, and he immediately throws it down on the floor. So to someone who doesn't know about the details of the crime, they might think this is an unimportant detail, but investigators know that the body of Derek Roby had Kool-Aid from his lunchbox poured all over his wounds caused by the murder. So whoever killed Derek, his mother had packed Kool-Aid in his lunchbox for him, and they poured the Kool-Aid all over his wounds. So in my mind, the investigators, that's like their biggest red flag because they set the Kool-Aid in front of him and he just throws it on the ground. Like it's like triggering to him for some reason.
I did not know these parts.
Yeah. So at that time, investigators took Eric back to the sidewalk where he said he saw Derek and had him retrace his steps on his bike. They could see that the distance between the two boys would have been too great for Derek to provide the details about Derek's lunchbox that he had given detectives while being questioned, and that he had to have been closer to the victim than what he had revealed. So, as I said before, he doesn't have great eyesight. He has these big bottle cap glasses. He's giving the police certain details about, oh, his lunchbox was pretty cool. It looked like this. And detectives are like, wow, pretty specific.
Right.
I saw him from all the way over here, and you can give us that such great detail.
Right.
So originally, Eric's family thought that his dishonesty must just be because he knew something but couldn't tell for some reason. No one in his family ever would have suspected that he himself might actually be capable of committing this crime. That is until he admitted to detectives that he had indeed lured 4-year-old Derek into the woods with the promise of a shortcut to the park. He strangled him, hit him in the head with a rock, poured Kool-Aid all over his wounds, and sodomized him with a stick.
Yeah, I remember.
I know. I can't. I almost didn't even write that part because I just can't. I
know, but I think people need to know that he's that sick.
I know. Well, that's
He's
why
that sick.
That's why I did write it, because I'm just like, okay, this man is free right now, okay, and Derek's parents are alive and they're living in the same state. Like, can you imagine if they run into this dude?
No.
Like, it's not fair. I don't care if he can be rehabilitated. Like,
no.
And it's not, for me, it's not like there's no defense about killing anyone in any way, but the acts that he did to Derek they are pure evil.
Yeah.
Pure evil. He didn't shoot him or do something quickly where it was like an impulse type of thing, which isn't defensible, but it is more than this, where it's just he literally bashed his head in with a rock, strangled him, poured Kool-Aid on him, and then did that with that stick, and then posed his body.
No, there are different levels.
Crazy.
There are levels, and he's like the worst one.
Right. So,
and at that age, like, what the hell is going on?
Right. I know. I just think about his mom. I just can't stop thinking about his mom. How she packed his lunchbox, put a little banana in there, and poured his Kool-Aid, and just, those little like special touches that a mom does, and then that boy did that to him.
Yeah. He's sick.
So he was sentenced after he told the police. Obviously, he goes to trial. I'm not going to go through all the details of that. He admitted what he did. There was no real trauma in Eric's background to his
link.
Yeah, his stepsister said that she had been molested and she wondered if Eric had been as well. But
he never said
Eric said he had not been. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, lots of people are molested and they don't do this. So I don't know that would even matter for me. Obviously, him being picked on and bullied, like that was a major factor for him. He wanted to, when he was up for parole, they asked Eric if the crime gave him a good feeling, and he said yes, it did. He told the judge that it felt good to be hurting someone else rather than being the one being hurt. The judge also asked him if he hadn't admitted to the crime, does he think he would have gone on to kill again? And he answered yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he would never have been caught if he wouldn't have went into the police department.
A child. Yeah. Even if they were able to pull like DNA evidence and fingerprints and all that, which they probably couldn't at the time, but even if they could, they wouldn't have had any of his.
Right.
He was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. So he would have never gotten caught. But
no one would have ever thought a kid did that either.
Especially
never.
You just don't think of like a unsuspecting little nerdy boy, you know? So he was sentenced 9 years to life. And after 9 years, he is up for parole every 2 years. So every 2 years, his family has to go through this again, writing letters to the judge why they don't think he should be out. So he went up for parole 11 times, so from 2002 until 2023. And then he was released in 2023. And he's got a fiance and everything. He said he wanted to go on to start a family and have children on his own. That's what he said.
Oh my God. That's all we need is him having kids.
And I just can't believe people marry these guys because he met his fiance because she was studying to be a lawyer and she wrote him a letter asking about like child court cases.
What?
Yeah. And then they fell in love. They continued writing letters and fell in love.
Oh, dude. My God. I have to look up his fiance.
Imagine if Tim, your husband, did that. What? How do you even look at the person? How do you bring them around your family?
I literally don't know.
Imagine if she has family and they have kids. She's just going to bring her boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever?
No.
Not around me.
Not around me, you're not. Oh my God. This Eric Smith looks exactly the same too, just bald now. Like he looks like the same exact person.
I think he is not well, obviously. And I think that the reason it took him so long to be paroled is because he was kind of figuring out what worked and what didn't work as far as like how he was speaking to them about the crimes. Because when he first talked about the crimes, he was not remorseful. Like he apologized for what he did, but he wasn't remorseful. Like a person should be for doing what he did, especially as an adult, like understanding the repercussions and like the ripple effect that had on his parents and family.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Great job.
Sorry.
That one's awful.
Sorry, guys.
I did not. I feel like it's really you said Eric Smith. That's such like a common, like everyday name that I didn't even put together that's who that was.
Yeah.
Until I saw the picture and then I was like, oh my God, I know this one.
Yeah. He's very I mean, I feel that I would recognize him if I saw him.
Oh, for sure. Can't believe
I would be really surprised if someone doesn't him.
Yeah, I'm always shocked when those guys don't get killed right away.
You can't. I mean, how could he possibly go into society, have a job? Someone will find out what he did.
I mean, he's lucky what his name is. Like, you don't, because it's not recognizable. Like,
yeah, but Eric is recognizable.
Oh, he is recognizable.
And
he doesn't look like your everyman.
No, and I'm sure he probably will change his name. But I don't think, like, he can't escape what he looks like.
No, and if I remember correctly, if you look up like images from the trial, like even as a kid, he's just like sitting there chilling. Like just looks very nonchalant. Like I know that you said he like cried and got upset in the investigators, like in the room with the investigators.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, he's just like,
I think he cried and got upset because he realized he got caught.
Yeah,
he was
in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Not because he was remorseful for what he did. Yeah.
No, I definitely don't think he was. Whoa. That's a heavy one. You did a heavy one. Mine
I know.
is heavy because of what happened, but it's also, I don't know. It isn't like the kid ones are tough.
I know. I'm gonna have to not do kid ones anymore if we're gonna
Kid
keep
ones are
doing this
tough.
podcast because it is too much.
Yeah.
It is too much.
The kids are a lot. The kids are a lot. Mine does not involve children, which should
Nice.
make you feel a little bit better. So mine is the story of, are you ready? Drum roll. Murderer Harvey Marcelin. Do you know this story?
No,
I'm so
he's
excited.
out.
I just, you just gotta listen. You just gotta listen. Okay, you ready? Harvey was born in Harlem in May of 1938 to a man who was a shipping clerk and a mother who was a seamstress. Later interviews with Harvey would show that he had a pretty stable home life during his younger years. His father passed away when he was 10 years old, so from then on he was raised by a single mother. Eventually, things changed. Harvey attended a Catholic school where he claimed that he was sexually abused, whipped, and given expired food to eat. I say claimed because I don't know what really happened in these people's lives. So everything is according to them. So I say claimed because you can say anything happened. You know what I'm saying?
I also just think it's important to say because just because something bad or traumatic happens to you,
Yes.
that does not seal your fate. We
Right.
still have the knowledge of right and wrong, and shouldn't be passing those things on to other people.
Right.
There are lots and lots of people who endure terrible things and then go on to not do that to other people.
Right. And go get help. Like if you do have some sort of thing that you know is bad that you're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go get help. Like you haven't done anything illegal yet. It's not illegal to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree with you.
But Harvey believes that that is what caused his emotional and behavioral problems, which led him to engage in, quote, sexually deviant behavior in his teenage years. So around the age of 13, Harvey started cross-dressing, which he states led to gender dysphoria. Okay, so like, I don't know what gender I am, I'm assuming. Gender dysphoria?
Well, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Gender dysphoria. So I don't know. I'm not sure like exactly how people would describe that now, but it's so if I'm born a female and then I feel that I'm a boy.
Yeah.
I don't feel feminine. I don't want to wear. I feel that I'm a boy. So that's probably what.
That's what he said. It led to gender dysphoria. In 1952, so this is a long time ago, obviously. In 1952, at around age 14, he was accused of attempted sexual assault of an 8-year-old girl. He's 14, so I lied. This does include kids. I forgot. You forgot about that. After this, he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital for evaluation. So again, like, not even held criminally liable. Like, just, we're going to send her to a psychiatric hospital. They were like, no, nothing criminal here. So at the psychiatric hospital, reports show that Harvey committed thefts and engaged in sex with men and women regularly. After being released from the psychiatric hospital, he was able to graduate from high school. This, however, did not stop him from returning to a life of crime. In 1957, at age 19, Harvey was charged and convicted of burglary. He ended up being incarcerated in county jail for several months. In the years following his release, he developed a drug addiction, and it was reported that his mental illness seemed to worsen. He was working as a copy machine operator and living with his mother because he couldn't stabilize his income with the drug addiction. Harvey was repeatedly placed back into psychiatric care, but doctors were never able to find a definitive diagnosis for what they believed was wrong with him. So that's his first stint in jail for burglary, and then gets released. Obviously, that's reasonable to release someone after they commit a burglary. Like,
right.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know why he wasn't charged with the attempted sexual assault of an 8-year-old girl, but whatever, I'm going to let that one go for now. In the early 1960s, Harvey married Florence Jackson. In 1962, he admitted himself into a hospital for evaluation. After about 8 days, he was discharged and picked up by his wife. The hospital decided that he showed some signs of schizophrenia and paranoia. It's no surprise that Harvey's marriage to Florence was not a good one. He would often cheat on her and even got into a serious relationship with a woman named Jacqueline Bonds. Bonds started to accuse Harvey of being too aggressive and ended the relationship. This sent him into a rage wherein he would stalk and sexually harass Bonds. Bonds was with her mother once when he came around and told her that he was going to, quote, get her. So fast forward to March of 1963, Harvey and his new girlfriend named Clementine Benefield were arrested together and charged with rape, second-degree assault, and burglary. Harvey was booked into prison while the case was being investigated, but he was subsequently released when his mother paid his bail. Gonna have to go ahead and stop right there. His mother knew of all of the past shit and all of the alleged stuff with this new rape, assault, and burglary, and was still like, my baby needs to be free. I need to pay his bail. No, ma'am. No,
No,
ma'am.
I don't think so.
Your son's a real
You gotta let him
problem.
sit.
He's a real problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So delusional mama is.
I mean, it's one thing. I'm not defending burglary, but when you're like raping and doing physical harm,
Hello.
come on.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's for sure. That woman is delusional. So, okay. So remember Miss Side Piece Bonds? Yeah. Well, as I'm sure you've already figured out, shit's about to go down. On April 18th, Harvey went to Bonds' apartment while he was released on bail and got into a fight with her in the hallway. He then pulled out a revolver and shot her, but Bonds was still alive. She ran to the bedroom where Harvey shot her again twice. He was clearly a shit shot because she continued to move around but ended up staggering into the living room where she collapsed and died. Harvey was arrested not long after committing the murder. He was immediately taken to Bellevue Hospital for psychiatric evaluation. Psychiatrists said that while Harvey did probably have schizoid personality disorder along with sociopathic traits, he was competent to stand trial for his crimes. So right here, had he not been released for rape and assault and all that other shit,
Right.
this woman might still be alive. But of course, they released rapists because, oh, come on, they probably won't do anything while they're waiting trial. Bitch, you're a rapist. They're definitely
going to.
Rapists are the worst.
Okay.
So on November 18th, 1963, he was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after the jury deadlocked on the death penalty. Side note, deadlocked basically just means that there was a hung jury. So they couldn't make a decision.
It's crazy that it's like, let's see, should we give him death or maybe we'll let him out?
Or maybe
You know
just
what I
let
mean?
it
It's
go.
like,
Yeah.
too, like,
Hey
such
guys,
extreme.
there's other options.
Yeah.
Okay, so after being convicted, Harvey was asked why he murdered Jacqueline Bonds. His reasoning was that of a 14-year-old child. He said she was beautiful and popular, and he didn't want her with any other men. Makes sense. She's pretty and everyone likes her. I don't want her with anyone else, so I need to kill her. Yeah, okay.
He's
a psycho.
insane.
Harvey was transferred around to different prisons in New York after being convicted of murder. He was even at the state prison in Attica, New York, during the Attica prison riot, which lasted from September 9th, 1971 to September 13th, 1971. This riot has been described as a historic event in prisoners' rights movement, which is an oxymoron if I ever heard one. Prisoners' rights? I mean, the word is really prisoner. You don't have rights. Okay. Anyway, so prisoners worked together to revolt in hopes of better living conditions and political rights because they believed they were treated like animals. On September 9th...
Don't get me started.
I know.
Like, I'm sorry,
know.
but some of these people, the crimes that they've committed, it's just like, you should have thought about that.
Yeah.
I have no sympathy.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Yeah, you're kept in a cage because if we let you out, you're going to hurt
You act like an animal. When you rape, murder, and you take people's lives, that is what you get.
Yeah, we keep you caged. I'm sorry. It's a fact. Okay. So on September 9th, I'm telling this story just because I think it's so interesting. The Attica prison riot is actually kind of interesting.
It is, for
so
sure.
On September 9th, 1,281 of the 2,200 men incarcerated in Attica rioted and ended up taking control of the prison. He was a part of this. Harvey Marsland was a part of this.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the chaos?
No, insane. So they took control of the prison with 42 staff having been taken hostage. Yeah. But I mean, it's 1,281 men. Like, it's no wonder they could take control. It's only 42 people. The riot ended when Governor Nelson Rockefeller ordered armed corrections officers as well as state and local police to go in and take control of the prison. During this fight, 43 lives were taken, 91 wounded, including law enforcement, correction officers, prisoners, as well as employees of the prison. Sadly, Harvey's life was not taken.
Sadly.
I know. I had to throw that in there. This bitch should have died. People believe that changes were made based on the prisoners' demands as a result of this riot, but many of those changes were reversed in the 1980s and 1990s. After the riot, Harvey was moved to another prison where he said he was bullied due to the riot. Oh, well, no shit. Okay, you caused this to happen. You're going to get bullied. How did he think that was going to turn out? Seriously. Anyway, for years after his parole Applications continued to be denied because he continued to show aggressive behavior toward women, including sending wildly inappropriate letters to volunteers. However, in May of 1984, Harvey was granted parole. He had been in prison for 21 years. So he's in prison for 21 years and he gets paroled. Harvey moved back to New York City and lived out of a room in Cambridge Residence Hotel in Harlem. He had trouble finding work, or maybe was just lazy as fuck, so he would just rent out his hotel room to make money. He spent his time with sex workers, pimps, homeless people, and drug addicts. In 1985, he met Anna Miranda, who was a sex worker and heroin addict, and ended up living with him as his roommate. On October 29th, Harvey got into an argument with Miranda and stabbed her to death after being high on crack cocaine. Since murdering 2 women wasn't bad enough, he then dismembered her body, placed different parts into garbage bags, and scattered them around Central Park like a fucked up scavenger hunt. What? Yeah. It didn't take long for him to be arrested again because his neighbor had seen him carrying around blood-soaked bags the day after the murder and reported it to authorities. The neighbor's name was Roberto Romano. Shout out Roberto! Go, Roberto!
He said, I see something, I say something, okay?
Hell
I
yes.
do not think so, not in my
He said,
neighborhood.
blood-soaked bags? No way, bitch. You got something going on.
Hello, I'd like to report a crime.
911. Roberto is a slave brother, and I'm here for it. So, while being interrogated, Harvey insisted that he had murdered Miranda in self-defense. Of course you did, Harvey. We know.
Poor little Harvey.
Yeah. He said she had been stealing from him, and they got into a fight wherein he had to defend himself, and it resulted in her death. The autopsy showed that she had been stabbed 33 times.
33 times.
Self-defense.
That's called overkill.
Self-defense. Yeah. You don't stab anyone 33 times in self-defense. I'm sorry. That's not a thing. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say self-defense is ruled out on that.
Can you remind me of his name so I can do it?
Harvey? No, you can't look until after. You can't look until after. You have to wait. You have to wait. You have to wait. You have to wait. Okay. Because Harvey had committed yet another felony, his parole was revoked. Well, no shit. And he had to go back to prison to serve his life term. It's called a life term. Why was he released anyway? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
In 1986, Harvey was convicted of killing Miranda, but he pled guilty and had his charges lowered to manslaughter, which only added 12 years to the life term he already had. 12 years for stabbing a woman 33 times.
For killing her.
Yeah.
Like,
and let's remember, he's been released from prison twice, and both times.
So John?
Yeah, John on to kill.
So confused.
Yep. He applied for parole 15 times, but was denied. In 1983, he met a transsexual inmate who, after befriending, he decided to start going through hormone therapy and ultimately transitioned to a woman in prison.
Okay, I see why.
Now that you couldn't look it up because I didn't want you to know yet. Harvey Marcelin then became Marcelin Harvey. Isn't that interesting how he had a name where he could just switch it? So he was, as a male, he's Harvey Marcelin. So from here on out, he is a she and her name is Marcelin. I wish it was the end of Marcelin's story, but it wouldn't be our podcast if shit didn't get worse just when you thought it was getting better, would it? All right. On August 7th, 2019, at the age of 81, Marcelin was again paroled.
Shut up.
She is now an old woman, so what harm could she possibly do, right? After her release... Shut up. Listen, after her release, she returned to New York. Yeah.
The fuck, dude? Okay, we will definitely post a picture.
We're pausing right here because Michelle just Googled to see
my
woman's face.
Deranged.
No, she's a...
Okay, sorry for the interruption.
No, you're good. Okay, so what harm could she do, right? After her release, she returned to New York where she met Susan Layden, who is 68 years old and residing at a homeless shelter for the LGBT population. She had an undisclosed mental illness and a drug addiction, but had previously owned a successful jewelry store in New Jersey. She had lost the store due to worsening mental health. The ladies developed a relationship and ultimately found housing in Manhattan. They paid for it with welfare checks and moved in. Marcelin was quite old but quickly became social and even learned to use the internet and created a Facebook account. She posted pictures of herself with makeup and different wigs. She became friends with other women who were usually at Marcelin and Layden's apartment. In February of 2022, a shopping cart with a multicolored bag was found on the street by a passerby. Inside was a human torso. It was only a few blocks from Marcelin's apartment, which prompted police to question her given her extensive history. The next day, she was arrested at her apartment, where police found Susan Layden's severed head, a power saw, and bloody sheets. Surveillance footage showed Susan had last entered the building on February 27th. The footage showed Marcelin carrying Susan's purse after this. Footage from a hardware store showed a woman purchasing a power saw, trash bags, and cleaning products. The next day, a grocery store camera showed Marcelin riding a powered wheelchair/shopping cart. Can you guess what the footage showed on the seat whenever Marcelin would get up to browse items? Yep, it was a severed human leg wrapped in plastic.
Oh my gosh.
In a plastic trash bag.
There's literally a video of it, guys.
Yes, there is a severed human leg. It's in the footage. Yep, you can see it. There it is.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On March 30th, 2022, Marcelin was charged with second-degree murder and concealment of a corpse. She pled not guilty. Okay, bitch. Police were not able to establish a motive. She shared photos on social media of them together saying things like love personified. But if we know anything, it's that people, especially people like Marcelin, can snap in a moment's notice and commit heinous crimes. And also Facebook doesn't mean shit.
Right.
Police believe that the feelings may not have been mutual. They think Susan may have actually attempted to end the relationship. Marcelin may have snapped at that moment. In November of 2020, Marcelin had uploaded a picture of a young blonde woman as her Facebook profile picture, and Susan had called her a freak for doing so. This may have been the beginning of the end. Marcelin's trial for Susan Layden's murder began on March 1st of this year and is currently ongoing. This bitch was released from prison like 4 times, and every single time committed a horrible, heinous crime, including at age 81.
Who had the energy for that?
Stop letting these fuckers out of prison. Hello. If you will commit rape and murder, you will do anything. And I don't know if I believe that there's rehabilitation from rape. I really don't know if I believe it.
Well,
I just don't.
No.
I think if you have someone who's abusing you or harming you or your kids and you go out and you kill them to make it stop, yes, like you're killing someone to stop an action that they're doing. I think that's very different from this fucking person.
Well, when it's in the form of necessity to protect yourself or your children, like I would probably do some things I'm not proud of to protect my kids. Like I would do what needed to be done to keep them safe.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about committing crimes against people for no reason, rape, murder, when they're not doing anything to hurt you, that you're just doing it for, I mean, what was he raping an 8-year-old for? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and probably with these women they were living with him, so collecting Social Security checks or whatever, welfare benefits, whatever they're getting. I mean, who knows? Just gets mad and says, you don't deserve to live anymore.
Well, and I don't know that it makes a difference, like whether or not like mental health stuff is involved. That stuff is real, but you still can't be out on the streets.
No,
you have to go somewhere, whether it's prison or to a mental health facility. Like you still have to be somewhere where you can be kept away from the public.
I was hoping that you would select one where the person was only released once so that I could make it a point out of this to say this person was released multiple times and immediately went and committed a crime. No time lapse.
Yeah.
Immediately went and did it.
Well, and that's one of the things that in my crime, they say, like, the parole board, like, they're making a big gamble because they know that these people are capable of these crimes, and they're just basically placing a bet on how likely is it for them to re-offend.
Right.
I mean, if you've already killed a 4-year-old or tried to rape someone, you are desensitized to that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
100%.
You can do those terrible actions. It's like you're capable of it. It's not like it's a thought in your mind, an intrusive thought or something where it's like, what if I did that? It's like, oh yeah, I already did that. I can do it. I will do it.
Right.
And my guy even said he would have done it again.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have gotten caught. So what? We're just gonna let these people out and see what happens?
It's beyond fucked. Beyond.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy.
So yeah, that's the story of Harvey Marcelin / Marcelin Harvey.
I can't believe I've never looked at. When I saw him stand up from that operating wheelchair or whatever and that bag on the seat, guys, Are you kidding me? How have I not ever seen that before?
Yeah.
He's just riding around.
Yeah.
Just rolling.
When I read this, I was like, how do I not know this story? And he was released multiple. So he's a serial killer who was only able to be a serial because he was caught after the first one. He was only able to continue being a serial killer because he continued to be released.
They just thought he was old, so he's not going to commit.
Marceline don't give a shit about being 81.
Mm-mm.
She'll kill a bitch.
Yep. Oh, yeah. She, not he.
She.
I forgot. Wow. Good job.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Also, I just was thinking of this, mostly because of your story. I watched the newer John Benet Ramsey documentary, I think on Netflix. Have you watched it?
No.
I just want to be very clear that I do not believe that her parents had fucking anything to do with this. And I am so sick of people acting like they do.
Yeah.
But this documentary, I'm so thankful for it because it went in on the police department in Boulder. And those fuckers, it is, I mean, if anything, they should be held criminally liable.
100%.
Because they immediately were like, oh, it's the parents, and did everything in their power, including lying and making shit up.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's sick. It is sick. You have got to watch it.
Wow.
The documentary starts in a way where you don't really know where it's going to go. Like they might just blame the parents. Like they really might go down that route, which I was like, I'm done watching if they're going to. I'm done watching. Because supposedly this mom did it because she wet the bed. Like, get fucking real. No mom is murdering their kid because they wet the bed.
Not. There are parents who have done.
Yes,
not
there
this.
Are,
not this
not
family.
This family, and
this is a mother who doted on her daughter. Now people talk so much shit about Jean Benet Ramsey and think,
the stuff that Barbie said on that. It's I can't believe what people said.
This was the mom's baby girl. Do you know what I'm saying? She was
you need to watch it.
But don't you feel the mom was
I get heated.
Like as a mother, I don't have a daughter, but if you're like a girly girl and you have a daughter, it's so that I could imagine that would be so exciting. Let's dress her up. She likes doing this. Let's teach her to do all these like girly
she
things.
Loved it.
And she loved it.
The little girl loved it.
And if you look at photos of Jean Benet, she wasn't always dressed up like that. Now, those are the pictures that we see, but there are lots of family
because the photographer who took those photos sold them after she died.
Yeah.
Which is fucked.
Major. But the family photos of her, there's lots of pictures of her where she's a little girl. She's not always dolled up like that.
No.
That's how they made it look to the public. But I think that her parents loved her immensely and they doted on her. And I think that like you said, the police botched that crime scene. They needed to have someone so that they could make the community feel safe.
But they just made stuff up. Like they just straight up made stuff up. And they showed all of these recordings. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know about where they had interviewed people who had said, oh, it's clear that she's been sexually abused because look at this video of her singing and dancing on stage. She's in a cute, adorable little like Western outfit and cowgirl boots. And she's like singing and dancing like a little girl. There is nothing sexual about it. There's another one where she holds a saxophone and like pretends like she's playing it in a song and like lifts it up and down the way that people do when they play a saxophone. And they're saying she's doing it in a sexual way. Like this woman actually said she is masturbating with a saxophone. If you think that from watching that video, then you are sick in the head.
I was just
because in no way does it look like that. In no way does it look like it looks like a little girl dancing around with. And if you think that's sexual, my 9-year-old twerks all. He thinks it's hilarious to twerk in the middle of the living room.
It's funny. It is funny. Preston can get down, but I 100%
sexual
I'm
though.
So tired of adults sexualizing kids, doing things, seeing them play a saxophone or dance silly, and then being like, name my theme, name it. It's like, can we let them be little and stop making everything so sexual?
Oh my God.
It's everything.
Yeah, you're the one with the problem if you see that as sexual. You're the one with the problem. But like also, it just blows my mind that even they hid when they found out that there was male DNA in this little girl's underwear. And they hid that the family members were immediately excluded. It was none of their DNA, and they knew it, and they hid it.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know
They
that.
hid it. They did not release that because they didn't want people, they still wanted to be able to find other ways. They even hid it from the defense. Like, they did not release it. Yeah. And they had known since, like, the very beginning.
And they still don't know whose DNA.
They still do not know.
Wow.
No. It's messed up. It's hard to watch. Like, I had to take some breaks just because, like, reliving that crime, really it's crazy. Horrifying.
Yeah.
But, like, I could not believe just when the dad found her and brought her upstairs. I know. and the mom was like, my baby, and like laid basically over her.
Oh,
And then people were like, what kind of mother would lay over their child's dead? What? First of all, you don't get to decide what a mother does when her baby's
Ugh.
dead body is brought to her. Don't sit here and say, well, she threw herself over the body, probably in case there was DNA, in case there was this. Get the hell out of here. I'm not trying to hear this.
no one knows how they would react in such a god-awful situation. I literally cannot even put myself in the brain space to imagine what my reaction would be if something so horrific happened to one of my babies. I cannot even imagine. And for any parent who has ever had to deal with that, that is, no one can judge that. No one. Because everyone reacts differently to traumatic situations. And that is the pinnacle. If you've had something happen to your baby, especially something like that, where they're a perfectly healthy child and someone comes into your home, your safe space, and takes them from you like that, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. And for anyone to sit there and say, "Oh, well, I wouldn't react that way," shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That stuff makes me so mad. Because
It
it's
makes
like,
me crazy.
that mom, 5 or 8 years later, died of cancer. She probably was sick over that.
100%.
I'm sure.
It killed her.
Yeah.
It 100% killed her. Anyway, I highly recommend it. I just think it gives details that you definitely don't know because they were not released and made public. And it just, I already did not believe that the parents had anything to do with it, to be honest. I never thought that there was enough evidence. Like, I never knew where people were coming up with that because she was in beauty pageants. Well, let's go ahead and arrest every parent out there who has their kid at beauty pageants. There's literally millions of them. So good luck with that.
Well, also,
It's like ridiculous.
I mean, lots of people want to hate on beauty pageants, but there are lots of adult women who were in beauty pageants as children and are still in them as adults, and they had wonderful opportunities come from them, and they didn't feel victimized by them at all.
Right.
So I do think that it's dependent on the person, and
Of course it is.
mostly just outside voices who aren't involved at all, and they just say, "Oh, why would you dress your kid up like that?"
Which is so stupid. I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah,
Like, I don't see it as being any different than a little girl who wants to dress up in her princess dress and dance around. Like, it's no different. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
This is what she did as like an extracurricular activity, and she loved it. And to be honest with you, she was a brilliantly smart little girl who was great at public speaking. Like, there were a lot of things that I'm sure she learned from that. But I don't know. All I'm saying is I highly recommend it. Watch it. And I just hope everyone gets a different perspective. I've heard other podcasts talk about it, and they're just 100% sure it was the mom or the dad or the brother. And I mean, it just wasn't. Like, it just wasn't. They show so much evidence that you never knew about. There was some stuff I did know about, which is why I never believed it was the parents. But anyway, highly recommend it.
I need to watch.
Definitely watch it. I hope everyone had an awesome Christmas. And a wonderful New Year's. This will be released before New Year's.
Oh, yeah.
You can totally listen to it before then.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you say. What's Hanukkah?
Hanukkah, Jewish.
I know,
Happy
but is it Happy
Hanukkah?
Hanukkah? Is that what you
Yeah.
said? Okay. When's Chinese New Year? I feel like that's like February. I think I'm in the wrong.
All the things, people. All the things.
We're here for all of you. All right. Well,
All right.
we'll see y'all later.
Bye. See ya.